Well, welcome, ladies, to our new moon sister circle on June 21st, 2020. It's also Father's Day. So Melanie and I have already done, this is double duty on forgiveness today. And the reason why our theme is liberation through forgiveness is because it is the new moon in Cancer, which is all about those deep emotions, those that we push down, the things that are suppressed, the fear, the anger, all of that gets pushed down tends to bubble up when we get into the Cancer energy. So we tend to be pretty weepy, and we may not know why. Like, why am I so weepy today? And especially if you are a Cancer, that like me, then you're particularly sensitive to it. Used to be, I would just be crying all day long when I was a kid. I mean, like the injustice of the world. Can you imagine? I was just like, I was constantly crying, red face, snotty. It was terrible. But you learn how to manage, right? Because that's part of who we are, that deep emotional side. And so, I guess the gift of being a Cancer is that you're actually drawn to doing this work, right? Because you have to figure out how to manage your emotions. You have to figure out how to be friends with your emotions so that they don't overtake you, because you're just that sensitive to them. So here we are. And it's Father's Day. So I opened up a second circle earlier today for people of all genders, so that they would, everyone would have an opportunity. And we used a different format for that one than we do in our circle, in our new moon circles. But it was very healing. We did a healing your heart process on forgiveness of others. And it's just in time too. It's just in time to do this work. So I want to acknowledge we have Shelly and we have Melanie. And I'll just kind of go over kind of our outline. So I'd love to open it up, first of all, with some content around the astrology of Cancer. And then I have this excerpt that I'd like to read from. This was Debbie Ford's final book. Now, this one was published posthumously. The last book that she published before she died was Courage. And then years later, after she passed, her sister, Arielle Ford, who's really well known as a kind of a relationship coach and guru, she did a channel, she had a session with James Van Praagh, the psychic, and they have long-time relationship, and James knew Debbie as well. And long story short, Debbie showed them that she had a book that she wanted them to publish, and then they found it. Her assistant Julie found it, and it was like ready to go, ready to be published. And it was a prayer book called Your Holiness. So there's an excerpt of that I want to share to lead us into some discussion. That'll be when we kind of share what's bringing us to this circle tonight, what's coming up for us around forgiveness. And then we'll go into the 10-minute Unify Heart meditation, right into the visualization prompts around liberation through forgiveness. We'll stay in that receptive place and get our journals out, and I'll share some journaling prompts. We'll all do some journaling. And then when we're done, we'll come back and we'll share. And Melanie's getting some help. Yay! Thank you, Jeremy. I assume that's Jeremy over there. Our hero. Love it. Trying to crash the new moon sister circle. That's okay. He's a brother. We need to have sacred men holding the circle, containing the circle. We're blessed. All right. Yeah, so why don't I start with some astrology? Find that. Okay, so yes, Cancer, like I said, is a water sign. It's ruled by the moon. Some of the key qualities of this Cancer new moon energy are deep emotions, empathy, sensitivity, intuition, nurturing. We're sentimental at this time. We've tender, caring, and it's all about the subconscious, what is submerged or below the level of our awareness. So the new moon in Cancer on June 21st is arriving the day after solstice. We are midway through our eclipse season portal and the world is changing. We are changing. We are waking up. After much time and reflection, as we re-enter the world, we get to decide how we show up for ourselves, our family, and for humanity in all its diversity. Change requires deep courage. True change, lasting change begins within each one of us. And the first step to courage is a fearless moral inventory of ourselves. It's time to peer beneath the veil of our consciousness and into the vast abyss that is our emotions, beliefs, biases, and behavioral patterns. This is a time when your emotions might be heightened. Your nervous system might be wound up. Take the time to be with yourself in loving acceptance. Hearts are tender, and the shadowy parts of our psyches are present during this time. We are both dark and light, and it's important to acknowledge where you are holding on to hurt, blame, and resentment that is draining you of the hope and energy needed to move forward. Right now, you are being supported by universal and cosmic forces to feel deeply at this time. Spend time with yourself on honest and bold questions about how you have shown up in the past and how you desire to show up for this new world we are building together. Cancerian energy presents us with a spiral path into our depths to retrieve hidden gems and claim them as allies as we step into our healing. When we heal, we help those around us heal. It is here that we access the deep roots essential for our healing that have previously been inaccessible to us. Collectively, on this new moon, when we choose to show up, look within, and do the work, we are unwinding lifetimes of conditioning and suppressed, repressed emotions. We are therefore clearing the way for progress in our own lives and in the lives of others. Woo! Wow, what do y'all think of that?
How long do you have?
As much time as we want. We own it. This is our time. So let's chat about forgiveness. What is coming up for you around this theme today of liberation through forgiveness?
I had a magnificent day, as you know, but where forgiveness would come into it for me is that there's a person in the family that has starkly differing views from all of the other thinking people. So you can hear right there where I need the forgiveness, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And in fact, we were talking at church this morning, Zoom church, about how difficult it is to give love to the people that are really against the things that we believe in, because we can't, you know, you can't get rid of hate with hate, etc. So it's for us all to figure out.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it.
Oh, Melanie, can you unmute yourself?
You're muted. We can't hear you.
There you go.
There you go.
I know. I just keep reminding myself, and I've told my kids this too, that when you hold on and not forgive, it's like feeding yourself poison, expecting the other person to die. You know, because it hurts your body. It's bad for you. You know. So I just remember that, you know, it's almost like you have to forgive if you want to be healthy. You
Oh,
have to.
in order to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's been studies that causes cancer. You know, it damages your body
yeah.
to hold on to that.
Yeah. We're not built to hold it.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
it's okay to feel it. Just let it go.
oh yeah.
You know.
Let yourself feel it and let it flow. It's like, that's the whole water thing.
Yeah, Pisces.
Right? The weather. Think of it as like, you know, the anger.
Yeah.
Trying to hold on to the anger is saying, I forbid you to stop thundering. Right? It's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like when we are holding on to our grudges and our resentments, we're like staying in that storm. When the storm is going, hey, can I just be finished now? Like, there's some other things I'd like to do. But yeah, there's a part of our humanity that is constantly making meaning. And I know we've had conversations about this. It's like we want to label things, we want to categorize things and put things in boxes, and then there's a part of we you know, but it's not meant to be contained and held. Not for that long, not for years and years. Yeah. Right? And what we neglect to realize is that when we're holding a grudge or a resentment against somebody else, it's not hurting that other person.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And they might be kind of bummed that you feel the way that you do about it and we can't be friends anymore. But, you know, whatever. It's that when you hold that grudge or resentment, you are keeping yourself bound to that person and that event or circumstance in the past that cannot be changed. Yeah. That is outside of our control. What is in your control? You can reinterpret the event in a way that's more empowering for you. It's not less true. It's just a different interpretation that will support you better.
Yeah.
And you can make the conscious choice to do forgiveness work. And it's work. And it's not easy. And our egos definitely want to hold on to that grudge and resentment and be in our righteous position about it. Oh, yeah.
Righteous indignation is
and I was such a righteous kid. Oh my God. If you knew me when I was a kid, you would have thought, oh, she needs to chill out. Whoa. But yeah, and I would, you know, just fight for my position because I was right. Doggone it, I was right. But right doesn't make you happy. You know? It's like it really, yeah. And so we have such beautiful creation energy. And if we have stuff that we are carrying around from years and years and years and years and years ago about why we can't do this or that because this guy did this and it made us feel like this and that slowed us down from doing that. And you just build the whole case about why we can't have what we want to have because we're victims from this guy. It's that guy. It's that MFer, right? Screwed up my life. Right? And what it really is it's an excuse. Yeah. It's an excuse to not do what we really know in our hearts we're called to do, right?
Yeah.
And because that's scary, we use
Yeah.
that MFer as our excuse. And we keep
Yeah.
ourselves,
I used to
we stop
accepting my
ourselves from growing. Yeah.
yeah accepting your that you're the co-conspirator in it is hard. You
Yeah.
know, that's hard. That's hard.
You got to really give it to our brains, though. They are brilliant in the way they rationalize
Oh, yeah.
and just keep us safe in our little comfort zone as much as they can, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, logically, we know the monkey mind knows it's a good idea to forgive. We understand. We've probably, experienced it before on smaller things, decided to let smaller things go and recognize, well, okay, yeah, I feel better. Still don't want to hang out with her because she's a gossip. But and so you set boundaries, but you're not carrying it, right? You let that go. So logically we understand that this is good for us, but the resistance is ultimately, I think, the main cause of the resistance to doing our forgiveness work is the fear that then we don't have an excuse, right?
Oh, not the fear of the actual memories or
Yeah,
or repeating the pain of the past, but the fear of who will I be if I don't have that to cling
right,
to anymore?
Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
that's, we it's all in layers. We were talking about this earlier, Melanie. It's like
Yeah.
forgiveness is a process and you're never quite done with it. There's always going
Yeah.
to be someone or something or some self, some part of ourself that we need to forgive. And it's like layers of an onion, right? I might forgive the first layer
Yeah.
and then I'm chugging right along. And then I come up against some trigger and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it's that resentment again. Wait, I thought I forgave that.
Yeah.
I thought I was done. Didn't I do the work? Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And you got lessons and you got wisdom and you got energy and you got to move forward some more. But there's more gifts and lessons and wisdom for you. And so that means you're going to have to go to the next layer of the onion. And then, but it's okay, right? At a certain point, you stop resisting your resistance and you start saying hi. Oh, there you are again. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know it's scary to go deeper because, oh shit, look at what I'm doing. Can I go further?
I know.
Is that possible? And so that's why I love this community or any coaching community or any coaching or accountability relationship where you're going to do some of this work together. And it doesn't have to be quite so scary. And we can take baby steps and get feedback and get reminded to, affirm ourselves and to, acknowledge our wins along the way. So, yeah, I don't know. What else do we want to say about forgiveness?
The only way is through,
Right?
but once you get through, you feel better, but you have to go through. There's no other
Let's
way.
go through. You're going to feel better. And then it'll be time for your next evolution.
Yeah.
And we'll have to contract and go inside again into that tender, vulnerable place.
Yeah.
And then go through. So our ceiling becomes our new floor.
Yeah.
And again, look at how tall we're getting. Awesome.
It gets incrementally easier though, it seems. Just that little bit easier each time.
Yep. Because it's emotional muscles. Your emotional muscles are getting stronger. And your discipline is It's becoming more of a habit to do your personal work.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself a little more ease and grace. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Start being a
it's
better
all
friend to
good.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been much nicer to myself lately. I haven't always treated myself well. So
You
it's
know,
new
hello
today.
me. Yeah. Awesome. Can I read you a little bit from my book?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Please.
this is the section. It's called The Ultimate Act of Self-Love. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Every day, we must choose to forgive ourselves for our imperfections, for our conflicting desires, for our unhealthy impulses, for our judgmental mind, and our critical thoughts. We must choose forgiveness first in order to make peace with the aspects of ourselves and our life that we have ignored, neglected, abused, violated, betrayed, and hated, even in the subtlest ways. It's true we treat ourselves that way. We must forgive ourselves for all our personal agendas and our righteous positions, which continue to lead us to believe that we are separate from the rest of the human beings in the world. Because when we are able to do this, we can choose to forgive all those around us. We can then see a bigger perspective, a grander version of our personal experience. If you knew you were God, how would you treat yourself? How would you look at yourself differently? If you knew you held all of life's potential inside your heart, how would you view yourself right now? There's nothing, and I mean nothing, that will give you more of what you want and need in life than forgiveness. Forgiveness of self, of others, and of the world is what returns us instantly to our holiness. For each one of us, forgiveness is a process. If we are committed to letting go of the past and ending the internal war, the steps to healing our hurt and anger will eventually lead us to say, I'm sorry. The love you can give to yourself today is to apologize and say, I'm sorry for all the ways you've participated in behaviors and circumstances that didn't serve your deeper heart. This is a personal dialogue between you and the most private, delicate parts of yourself. An intimate conversation written for you and by you. This is where the healing needs to take place. It doesn't even matter if you intellectually understand why certain things will come into your awareness. It's about healing your emotional self and the shame you carry.
And what was that last part?
It's all about healing your emotional self and the shame you carry.
Thank you.
And then she has this other section here, but I think I'm just going to open it up for conversation. What do you think about the ultimate act of forgiveness as the ultimate act of self-love?
I think that, I believe that to be true. I really do. Yeah, it's been my experience these past few months.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I think of the picture we looked at of the mother holding the child, and with the under the moon, and there's water, right? And as grown-ass women, we're ultimately responsible for our own happiness and experience in life.
Yeah.
Right? We're ultimately responsible for being open to create and receive abundance and support and honest, intimate relation, whatever it is that we want to create, ultimately we're responsible for.
Yeah.
Because we're grown-ups now.
Yeah.
And
that's a
we
good
don't
and
have
bad
anyone
thing.
else to do it for us. So that love and that unconditional love and acceptance for the child part of ourselves that really needed that. See, what happened was we heard certain things as kids, we interpreted them the best that we could. We formed beliefs about ourselves and the world, and a lot of that served us for a time, but then we hit a certain point where it was time to graduate and move up a grade. And if we didn't get what we wanted or needed from our caregivers, we have to start giving that to ourselves. So if we had a belief that our caregivers were critical of us, we've internalized that voice, and even though they're not around, that judgmental, critical voice, it came from stuff we heard them say, or other authority figures say. And then it got into our subconscious, and then we started to, just assume that that's the truth. And so that's the critical voice. It's from the past.
Yeah.
And actually has nothing to do with who you are now.
Yeah.
Because you're a grown-ass woman now, right? But it's just like, okay, so in taking responsibility for our experience, we need to be unconditionally loving of that child that is now us, and pay attention to what she's doing and why she's doing it, and cultivate some compassion for her. And it can be ruthless compassion. I mean, who's going to be more honest with yourself than you?
Yeah.
And you can, and that, what I mean by ruthlessly compassionate, it's like, you know what, that's an excuse. Wendy, come on now. I've heard you say to myself, right? A conversation with I'm just gonna get real with you right now, Wendy. I know you want to believe what you're saying to be true, but you're not a victim. Right here, right now, in this moment, you're not getting beat up right now. That's a voice in your head, and you need to forgive yourself. You need to just take ownership and really give yourself what it is that you need. And if what you need to do is let go of a self-resentment or a resentment against somebody else, then do your work. And even if you don't know how to do that work, other people that do, or where to look for inspiration and some things that you could try. I mean, there's like some really powerful forgiveness rituals out there. And we'll be doing them in the next season for sure. But here we are now. Any other?
It's the hardest. It's easy. I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but I find it much easier to forgive other people than I do myself. It's harder. I mean, I do it, but it's hard. And then the inner child work is, that's a wild ride.
And it is not a ride you have to take alone.
I think that one of the problems with self-forgiveness is that pesky thing called perfectionism.
That.
And
guilty as charged.
Yes, and it's so many things. It's presumptuous of us to think that we can be perfect when nobody else can.
Right.
No,
you're right.
And then number two, all that pressure to be working be impossible in our lives, and then being pissed at ourselves for not being able to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I have standards so high I can't even reach them.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous standard we hold ourselves to. We wouldn't hold anybody else to that because we know it's unrealistic and not nice. It's not a kind way to treat anyone, including yourself. Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys are like that, because I thought it was just me.
Nope.
There's comfort in that, there is.
Yeah. I think that there's so many of us is the thing. I think so many women have internalized that programming,
Yeah.
Be a perfect money-making robot.
Yeah. And wife and mother. And
money making,
daughter.
Cooking and cleaning, and
Right. Be a perfect everything robot.
Yeah.
And, no pesky feelings.
Yeah. I started to remind my kids lately, I am a human being. Right. I'm a person.
And we have to treat ourselves with that.
To our credit, though, you guys, how close do we actually come?
Oh, so close.
All that stuff, right?
We are
Wonder Women.
We are as close. We get there it's as close as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad then, right?
No.
It pushed us further.
No, but it
gave us some complexes along the way, but
right. But if you think about it in like terms of expansion and contraction, right? Yes, there's times when we're going to go. We're going to be so bright. But then there's times when we need to go inside and integrate, the lessons and the wisdom, and kind of like, be a little bit of a seed ourselves as we begin to, go to that next expansion, like an in-breath and an out-breath, right?
Yeah.
We are so, anyway, I know we're getting kind of
that's
existential here.
You know what's really cool about what you just said? In one of the meditations that I've led lately, we imagined the sucking in of our aura, and then the puffing it out further on each out breath.
Right.
And when you breathe it in, you're like putting all that sparkly good energy inside yourself, and then you're puffing it out even further.
It's one of my favorite things to do. I love that. Pulsing my aura, or each chakra too, I'm getting better all the time. Those are fun things to do.
Awesome. Well, ladies, shall we join the Global Sisterhood and go into our 10-minute heart meditation into our...
Yeah.
Okay.
Lead the way.
All right. So we have to use our imagination for this because we're not in the same room. And since we're using our imagination anyway, imagine that we're all holding hands. And also imagine that we have more women with us. So you can call in mentally, energetically, who you think would benefit from being in this circle. So, your mother, your sister, your cousins, your best friends, women you don't know, you can call them in energetically to be in our circle with us. And so, and we're all holding hands, and let's gently close our eyes and inhale together, slowing the breath. Bringing our attention to how our bodies are feeling right now, in full acceptance of whatever's present. And notice where your body is touching the ground and bring your focus there. Begin to feel the pulsing energy of the earth beneath us, the heartbeat of Mother Earth. With an inhale, breathe in gratitude and love for all that she gives us. Continuing to breathe, feel your heartbeat, your unique, beautiful rhythm. Breathe deeply from your heart as you open to the sensation of love within. Opening, feel the pulsing energy of this love. Envision and feel this pulsing energy as a light glowing in your heart. Breathing deeply, see and feel this light getting brighter until it fills your whole body and surrounds you. With your next exhale, think of someone who is having a difficult time in their life. Imagine they are right in front of you. While remaining connected with the love in your own heart, allow yourself to feel empathy for this person's struggle as you breathe, honoring their journey. See the light in their heart as the same loving light that is within yours. As you offer your love and compassion to this person, feel the light in both of your hearts growing brighter together. Inhaling as you focus your attention on your heart again. Feel the light grow brighter as you allow the love from your heart to nourish any parts of you that have been in pain. Open to feeling compassion for yourself as you breathe the light of your love into the places where you have kept fear, grief, anger, stress, and insecurity. Open to feeling nourished by the love within. Offer yourself acknowledgement and respect for everything you are, how far you have come, and for the incredible beauty and power within you. Take a deep breath and start to feel the woman to your right. This woman has her own struggles, pain, fears, and insecurities. And take a moment to feel empathy and great respect for this powerful woman beside you. While breathing into your heart, feel the power of the love in her heart. See and feel the light within her as it grows brighter, surrounding her. Feel the light within your heart and the light within her heart growing brighter together. And take a moment to feel the woman to your left. This woman has her own struggles, pain, fears, and insecurities. Take a moment to feel empathy and great respect for this powerful woman beside you. While breathing into your own heart, feel the power of the love in her heart. See and feel the light within her as it grows brighter, surrounding her. Feel the light within your heart and the light within her heart growing brighter together. Feel the love and light of every woman in the circle being amplified, growing brighter, filling the whole room. Let's connect with every sister circle that's happening on this new moon. Imagine the planet with sparks of light glowing where each sister circle is located. A golden web uniting our sisterhood. Let's focus the healing power within our hearts on all of humanity and our beautiful planet. Envision every person on this planet holding deep compassion in their hearts as they find the courage to let go, forgive, and set themselves free from burden and pain. Feel now in your body the peace of letting go, the relief of making amends, and the liberation of forgiving yourself and others. Imagine everyone experiencing the liberating, healing balm of self-forgiveness as they feel worthy, free, and empowered. Envision every woman doing deep inner work with self-honesty and humility as she finds self-responsibility and forgives the men and women who have hurt her. Envision our world healing as blame, resentment, anger, and pain are softened by the sweet and sacred act of forgiveness. Feel hearts opening and joy and peace returning. Feel the blessing of liberating ourselves on a global level. Imagine countries and governments forgiving one another while being devoted to justice, reparations, and a greater vision of peace. Envision treaties being upheld and allies being made as we all move forward together to create a healthy and thriving world. In this moment, connected with women all around the world, let's create the prayer and intention that all judgments, war, guilt, regret, blame, disconnect, and shame be transformed in our lives and in the lives of all people. Now bring this beautiful intention into your heart, surrounding it with light and love. And with a deep breath, imagine sending it into the earth below, like a seed being planted. Feel it blossoming. Bring your hands to your heart and feel your heartbeat. And take a deep breath and gently open your eyes and bring out your journal and your pen, and we'll stay in this receptive place for our journal prompts. What do you feel anger, blame, or resentment around? And how is this feeling affecting your life? Let's do some journaling around that for a few minutes. What do you feel anger, blame, or resentment around? And how is this feeling affecting your life? Think about a situation in which you feel forgiveness could help you heal. So just think about a situation and then write that situation down, because there's 3 questions you're going to use around this situation. So think about a situation in which you feel forgiveness could help you heal. And then the 3 questions are, what are you holding on to that's stopping you from forgiving? So I'll give you a second to write that down, that first question. What are you holding on to that's stopping you from forgiving? Question 2, what is keeping you from letting go? And 3, what would happen if you let it go? So think about a situation in which you feel forgiveness could help you heal. What are you holding on to that's stopping you from forgiving? What is keeping you from letting go? What would happen if you let it go? All right, Melanie, this one you brought up, but it's good for all of us. Is it easier for you to forgive yourself or forgive others, and why? Is it easier for you to forgive yourself or forgive others? Why? What is the most liberating moment you've experienced through the act of forgiving someone or yourself? And what were some key gems of wisdom you gained? So I'm going to repeat that again so you can capture those two questions. What is the most liberating moment you've experienced through the act of forgiving someone or yourself? And what were some key gems of wisdom you gained?
What was the second question again?
What were some key gems of wisdom you gained? We'll make this the last question. So whenever you're complete, Melanie, let's come back. Oh, bless you. Yes. I wanted to make sure we had time for sharing. I scheduled this to go an hour 15. We don't have to go that long. We can be done whenever we're done, but I did want to leave some time because there's a lot of stuff down there.
Okay, so where are we going to start with this? With the first question?
Actually, Melanie, excuse me, share as much or as little as you like.
Well, the one that's like, so the most liberating experience forgiving myself, I was doing a guided meditation, and in that meditation, it asked to look back on my life at critical point where there was pain or it was bravery or fortitude or open-heartedness, and so all of my cells, we were all together, even the littlest one.
Oh.
And I looked at all of the age, all of those stages, and I thanked each stage, each of me. Thank you for being so brave, or that was hard, but you did it. And that, and that hurt really bad, but you had the fortitude to get through it. So we all hugged, and then picked up, the littlest one, the gem of us all, And I just said thank you to all of them for getting me here. And that was an amazing meditation. I cried for 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
It was hard in the moment, but I walked away, gosh, just all those times in my life that I could remember hurtful or scared and all the abilities that it brought up, the courage, the bravery, the fortitude, the strength, the open-heartedness through, blind faith, and I just hugged them all.
Oh.
That was wonderful, It was wonderful.
Thank you for sharing that. Oh, wow. I can just imagine how much lighter you must have felt after that.
Oh, yeah.
And how much lighter you're going to feel after this weekend. My goodness, lady. My goodness, you've done work.
Yeah.
You've really done it. It's impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you for your share. How about I share, Shelley, and then pass it over to you before I close. I've got a poem. So I'll share. I've been working with forgiveness for a very long time. I shared with Melanie in the circle before the story of forgiving my second stepfather, which was profound when I was 14, which in and of itself it's weird. It's just weird that a 14-year-old would think to do that or would be willing to open to that. But I'm humble about it. I'm like, whatever, I've been listening to God, and that's what God told me to do. So I did it. I'm just kind of a very obedient God's girl. So that was profound, but that was kind of, that was the beginning. After that, I had to forgive my mother for allowing him to hurt me the way he did. I had to forgive her for witnessing and not stepping in. After he stormed out of the room and I'm in the corner in a puddle,
yeah.
She said, with a very stern look on her face. She'd been crying, right? Her face was red. But what she was saying to me was, you have to do what your father says. And that was not the right thing to say to me in that moment, because that man was not my father. And he had no right to do that to me. And that was just bullshit. I was not going to take that. Yeah. And that was the moment that I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm running away tonight. I'm not safe here. Clearly, she's not going to protect me.
Yeah.
So after I had that profound experience of forgiving him, later in my 20s, I was like, I was on a phone call with her. I'll never forget this. I was chewing her out. I had a previous conversation with my older brother who was telling me some stories about compromising positions that she had put him in, you know. And so after my father died, my little brother, who was only like 5 years old when our father died, he, you know, stepped in as like man of the house.
Yeah.
So he was used to like trying to fend off the men who were coming at mom, right? Because they were all lining up. They
Yeah.
were all, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to get in there. That is a good looking woman who has some money. And so he was always feeling like she was putting him in positions where he would have to put himself between a big, hairy, scary man and mom. So he'd been sharing these stories with me, and I was sticking up for my brother. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm in my 20s. I'm chewing her out. I'm telling her all the things that she did wrong and how dare she, and it was her job to protect all the things, all the just came out. And I'll never forget it. She said, she stopped me vocally, and she said, "You don't get to judge me until you've walked a mile in my shoes." And there was just something about the way she said it. I'm like, okay, I need to hear that. And I'm going to need to do something with that. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
And so we got off the phone, and then it was just percolating. It was percolating for a while. And I was in college. I was in the theater arts department. I had this former training as a dancer. So I was like actually teaching at the college. I was theater and acting and dancing and choreography. I really wanted to do a choreography project in the black box because as a student, you could just sign it out. You didn't have to pay for it. You didn't have to rent it. You could have it for rehearsal space and performance. So I'm like, yeah, I'm you know, I want to have a project, right? So I was in my creator mode. I need a project. I want to choreograph a show. I want it to be like a whole story told through dance.
Yeah.
So what's the story? What story am I telling? And I had a dream that night, a really profound dream. And it was my mother's story about how she grew up on that dairy farm with 5 other sisters and this patriarchal, psychological, manipulating abuser, and the crap, the weird, abusive, mental, psychological crap he was intentionally doing with them. It's kind of like a sick, mad scientist. I mean, like, this is my grandfather. This is my lineage. Fucked them up, right? But I had this awareness. I wasn't making this up. These were facts that I was just sort of putting together in my dream state. And then I saw the progression of her life, and then how it kind of led up to her being a mother. And I could see why she was making her choices. She actually didn't really have an option because of her programming.
Yeah.
And that was the big revelation. It's like everyone is making the best possible choices they can for who they are and where they are on life's journey.
Yeah.
And as a child, I had higher expectations of her than where she was. And that's what that was. She hated what she was doing. Yeah. She hated that she couldn't make herself step in and defy the father figure. And she hated, she took full responsibility that her choices propelled me to run away that night. You know, so she tried to make amends immediately, right? And so what I did was I used this story and I choreographed pretty much a whole ballet. I curated the playlist. I cast actors who could move and a couple of actors who had some dance training. And I played my mother. I danced my mother's part. And I had somebody else dance my part. And all of the characters. And my older brother came to see it live, he and his wife, and he was just weeping. And pretty much the whole audience was weeping, right? There was no words in the story, it was dance. But even if my story wasn't their story, there were parts that everyone was really relating to. And so it was like the generational cycles of abuse. And I danced a mile in my mother's shoes to feel what that would feel like, to be her and understand why she would make those choices that she did. And then it was just like, she is who she is, and I love her, and I'm so grateful for her. And it was a huge, like, to let go of that story. But it wasn't that I just let it go. I shared my story in service to others. And so there was a healing ripple effect. And that's something that not everybody can do. Writers can do that. Shelley can do that as a writer. As a creator, as a performing artist, I can do that. And if you have the ability to do that in some way, sharing your transformational story is a service to others. So that's what I wanted to share about that.
Well, Wendy, I have said it so many times that you and I have lived such parallel lives, and you almost quoted word for word the key gem of wisdom that I gained from forgiving my mother, because she went through worse than she put me through.
Right.
And that's how she was.
Yeah.
That everyone is doing the best they can at the time, and it's not for me to judge. And when I realized that about her, then I was able to forgive myself for also making really awful mistakes as a mother as well.
Yep.
You know, and I could see then that each generation did a little bit better than the previous one.
Yeah.
That's all that could have been asked of us. We had no role models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was abused too growing up by my father. And you had said something that made me remember when I was very young, something in me was telling me, and this was like 5 and 6, that it's not me. Like there is something wrong with this man.
Yeah.
And that was such a gift that was given to me that maybe wasn't so much given to, say, Ian, where it affected him much, much more than it did me and my little brother, because I was like his second mom. He was,
Right.
And so where we could see that this is a very damaged man. So, it's him. It's not us. Ian couldn't see that. But it was a gift for me and Lee to be able to recognize. So it's so little, and that's divine intervention. To say it's not you. It's this man is damaged.
And that's your inner wisdom
Yeah.
that's always with you. And as children, we actually have I think we have closer access to it because we haven't been in the programming for so long.
Yeah. I lost a lot along the way that I have to get back now.
Yeah.
I pushed stuff down.
Yeah.
So a lot has to come out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now the way that works is that now you are in a better position to handle it in a better way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm grateful for that too.
Oh, wow.
I'm so lucky to have met both of you.
Well, likewise, right back at you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So it's been quite a weekend. What a powerful transformation weekend we pulled off.
I know.
Go us.
It's amazing.
Congratulations. I have a poem. I'm going to close this out with prayer. Poem prayer.
Well, I love being read to, so I adore when you do this.
Oh, good. That's how I satisfy my voice actor. All right. I call to the element of water flowing within me. Purify me, heal me, return me to the truth of my heart. Teach me to love all peoples. Teach me to love my enemies, to love the ones who don't know how to love me. For what is an enemy if not that? Crystalline blue waters, bathe me, purify me, heal me, pour your chalice of goodness through me. May my tender heart be soothed. May my tears soften hard edges. May my love be set free so I can share the goodness within me. O Mother, O Healer, Great Spirit of Truth, I ask of you on this Cancer new moon, freedom, liberation, peace. And so it is.
And so
Our circle is closed. Love you, ladies.
Love
Have
you
a
too.
gentle self-care night. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Bye.